Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. It is back day. We are sticking with our current theme as far as which muscle group per day of the week. And today we have back. So I have a set of dumbbells, two sets, a set of 25s and a set of 15s. And hopefully you can have at the ready a box or a bench, a chair. We're going to be doing supported box rows. So on my box, I have this space. I'm going to go the other direction, but I'm going to put a knee and a hand so that I can have full support. If whatever you have to stabilize doesn't allow your knee and hand, that's fine. You can just put a hand and row from there. All right, let's get some warm up going. Stand evenly on your feet. Make sure they're both straight ahead. It's all the kind of little things that add up to keeping your body in alignment and everything else happy. Your knees, joints, hips, and back. So toes straight ahead. Feel like your heels are kind of screwing into the ground. Get your pelvis tucked under. Contract that core. Inhale, bring those arms all the way up. And then exhale, hinge and drop. Inhale. Hinge and drop. Inhale up. Hinge and drop. One more like that. We'll stay at the top. And then just pull side to side. So feel like you're pulling one hand and lifting up out of the hip joint on that side. Extend and pull. Extend and pull. Feel that belly button draw back. The tailbone tuck under. And wrap all the way around that core. And one more each side. All right, and then just stand level with a little bit of a wider base of support. Keep your hips level, and we're going to twist that upper back side to side. So we're going to try to build a little bit of flexibility, movement, and mobility in that middle upper back, keeping the hips level and still. So training that low back to stay mobile while that mid back can build some rotation and movement. It's our mobile piece. All right, last one. Go ahead and come onto your hands and knees. And we are going to do what's called a transverse abdominis draw. So your transverse abdominis are the muscles deep inside the core, so not topical, but more interior, and they run along the kind of front side of your abdomen. So these would be the muscles that we use whenever we're doing a dead bug or a bird dog. Many of our concentrated deep interior core exercises, and we're going to try to find them here without moving our back at all. So those are also another way to think about it or understand it, is that your transverse abdominis are the muscles that you use to cough. You feel them kind of on the side, or to choke, or to laugh. So let's set up a perfect hands and knees position. So your hands are going to be right underneath your shoulders. Your knees are right underneath the hips. Go ahead and pull your elbows so that they point back at your thighs and slide the shoulder blades down. So your back should be flat, right? So we're not letting the low back sag and we're not rounding like we're in a cat, but we want to find that neutral back where we feel the pelvis kind of be in that neutral position. Okay, so from here, if you were to relax, then you would feel the low back sway, right? So what we want to do is just contract and draw those transverse abdominis up. So you're going to exhale and pull those muscles in as tight as you possibly can and hold. So we're going to try to find those transverse abdominis and be able to contract and control them, feel the heat build, and also breathe. Slide those shoulder blades down, contract deep. Keep holding flexion, draw in. Okay, and then relax. You can let your low back sink down, come back to your neutral spine and draw in again. Push into the hands, contract deep into that core. Almost feel like your back is lengthening, or I feel like mine is lengthening from the crown of my head through my neck. It's kind of crazy when you get that contraction in the right spot through your deep core muscles, you feel the back get supported almost immediately. And that's pretty fantastic. All right, so from here, I want you to keep holding those transverse abdominis, and we're going to just drop our hips back into a child's pose. But make sure you don't lose your back. Don't lose your pelvis. So extend your arms out just a little bit further in front and see if you can get your forehead all the way on the ground. And then just let your head rock left and right. Perfect. Okay, sit up on your haunches. Give yourself another big pull up here. We're going to get going. We have got 15 reps of each exercise. We're going to hit 2 back exercises, and then we're going to hit an ab exercise. So the abs are going to stay consistent with in and outs. Okay, so your in and out is a bent knee V up basically. So you're pushing that low back into the ground. You're going to extend everything, arms and legs, and then bring your feet in, or the knees in. If this doesn't work for you, I'm going to have you hit up your dead bug. So again, find those transverse abdominis that we just located from our transverse draw on our hands and knees, and you're going to be pulling there. Okay, otherwise, we're going to start with our first weighted set for the back. So we did this a couple weeks ago. It's just a scapula squeeze. We're not moving our arms very far. I'm going to use my 15s. You're going to find your hinge position. So from your hip creases, hinge forward, your belly's nice and strong. Nothing happens with your elbows. All that happens is you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. Okay, so here's 1. We're going to 15. You want to focus on those back muscles. Nothing happening in your neck. And you want to keep that core nice and solid. Keep that same draw that we just found from the ground. 8, 9. If you're not feeling the back muscles, drop your weight. Chances are you're compensating. 14 and 15. Okay, we're going to lie on the ground and hit up an overhead pull, overhead delt pull. So I'm going to use my 25. So you're going to keep your low back on the ground. And this is as much for the core as it is for your upper back. So first thing is to push that low back into the ground, connect into those transverse abdominis, and then reach the arms as far overhead as you can, as long as you can keep the work in your upper back. Work with your breath, inhale back, and then exhale, pull forward. See how much connection you can find with those scapula muscles again. The rear delts, so that's the back of the shoulder, and then what's called the shoulder girdle. So it's all across that upper back. See if you can keep your core contracted, that low back in the ground, without squeezing your glutes. So as those arms go overhead, your rib cage is going to want to pop up. And we're going to keep it sunk and tight. 5 to go. If your weights are a little lighter, you're going to go a little faster. So just try to still stick with my timing. So that might mean you get 18 reps, 20 reps. I know I don't count very well as time moves on also, but just try to stick with it. We want to really build the heat. I have felt my upper back from each of these focused back sessions, and it's been awesome. You can feel your posture set in. You feel your hips and low backs be supported. Last one. So keep it going. Find the challenge. Find the heat. Get the work done. All right, we got those in and outs. So 1, we're going to go to 15. Do your best to try to scoop your belly. So instead of having it pop and protrude, we're scooping it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Okay, we're going to come up and hit our back fly. So I'm going to go to my 15s for that one. Belly strong, chest is up. Make sure you get that tuck of the pelvis first, then get your hinge, and then your elbows are going to come up high and wide, pinch together. Here's 1, 2. So just like our scapula squeeze, we want to find that first. Pinch those shoulder blades together, and then you're just getting a little bit more involved, pulling those elbows up higher. Check in with the rest of the body and make sure it's staying still. 14 and 15. All right. Set up for that box. So you're going to set your hand right under shoulder and then your knee right underneath your hip. Make sure that you're even between the arm and the leg. Grab through the core and then pull that elbow straight up. Can you find that transverse abdominis draw? Same as we did from the floor. Use the back. As it gets heavy, your body's going to want to try to turn and contort itself. Make sure you feel it in the back, that lat muscle. So along the side of the back, 13, 14, 15. Whew. All right, other direction. Set up your positioning. Make sure that you're not collapsing into the supporting shoulder. I think the brain or the back is such a big brain connection that has to happen, especially until you really develop back muscles. It takes a lot of thought and connecting mind to muscle to get the back to grab how you want it. 13, 14, 15. Okay, now we go back to our in and outs. Connect into that belly. Focus on the core doing the work. 8. As you extend, push your low back toward the ground. Make sure it's finding contact. 14, 15. All right, we have back taps. So I'm going to grab 15s again. We're back into our hinge. Chest is up. Start with your weights by your thighs, and then you're going to tap them back behind. So watch here that you're not swinging the weights. Roll those shoulders back and down. Lock around that core. 12, 13. Just feel that upper back building, getting stronger, toning up. Okay, we're going to go into our dead rows, so a little bit heavier. Pretend that your weights are on a bar, or that they are a bar. Flat back, and then just row that bar right back to the belly button. Again, mind to muscle. Check in with your neck. Make sure it's neutral. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Back to our in and outs. And then we're back at the top. We should be able to make 3 rounds. No problem. 3, 4. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Back up to that scapula squeeze. Let's take a quick downward facing dog first. Feel those shoulder blades slide down. Shake out the neck a little. Perfect. Okay, going back. I'm going to stick with my 15s. We're going to find that forward hinge. If at any time you want to sit on your box or a chair to support, that's totally fine. Sometimes it helps keep everything in the right spots. You don't have to worry about that low back. 4, 5, just a little pinch and hold at the top. Grab the core a little more. Make sure it's in your middle back, squeezing between shoulder blades. 3, as opposed to your neck. 2, 1. I also can kind of get to where I can start to feel it in my neck just because I want to feel range of motion. That's a small range of motion. Got to keep it small. All we got to do is just focus on flexion into that upper back. Okay, lying down. Smack the low back into the ground. So feel that tuck through the pelvis. Reach nice and long. And then pull. Set in. Notice what you're feeling. And then decide maybe where to connect a little bit more in certain places. That core, your upper back, those muscles behind and underneath your armpits. 7. See if you can find that flexion of the core without contracting your glutes. 11. 12. Really check in and make sure you grab with that upper back. Then draw back over the shoulders. 14. 15. All right. In and outs. Push that low back into the ground. Feel the core pull those knees and your upper body together. 10, 13, 14, 15. Ooh, okay, back flies, then our box row. Slide those shoulders back and down. Find that hinge position. Hands together in the front. Elbows come up and squeeze. Check in with your neck. Make sure you're not bobbing your neck around. Just adding a little more arm movement to the scapula squeeze we did from the beginning. 13, 14, 15. All right. We're on our box row. Line up that knee right underneath your hip, hand right under the shoulder. Contract the core. Pack the shoulder blades down. Get everything set. Then start moving. Dig into that back. Your back has the ability to really lift some weight. So challenge your weight selection here if you can. 14, 15. Whew. Other side. Set it in first. Slide those shoulder blades down. Find your core. And then pull. 3. Make sure you don't start leaning backwards. Find that core. 13, make sure you don't start pulling with your neck. 15. All right, we're gonna hit up those in and outs. Five to go. Really tighten in, really feel what you're going for. Okay, back taps. Slide those shoulders back and down, hinge forward, and then squeeze. And tap. 5. The further that you lean forward, harder it's going to be. So depending on your weight selection, you'll stay a little more upright than you do with your back flies. 14, 15. Go a little heavier. We have our dead rows. Make sure you feel the challenge in the back. Even without super heavy weight, you can feel those back muscles squeeze and work. Stay long through the spine. 4, 3, and 1. Okay. In and out. 2, 4, 5. Stay in it. How can you make it just a little tougher? Find your own self flexions first. 2 and 1. Okay, 1 set to go. Flip it over, get a little stretch. We're going to start with that scapula squeeze. Your arms should be doing pretty good. Should be really feeling everything in the back. Your neck should be feeling good. Find that core and then squeeze. See if you can envision what your back looks like as you squeeze those shoulder blades together. If you had a visual from the top, you watch that upper back. Lots of movement in those shoulder blades. 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Overhead pull. Lie on your back. This is a good one. I love, this is probably my favorite back exercise, just because I feel like you can really set it in. You can isolate into that upper back, and you really feel that core have to work as well. You shouldn't be feeling anything in the shoulders or the neck. And if you're keeping your arms straight, you won't be feeling it in the triceps either. So it's not a skull crusher. You're reaching super far. Still want to kind of dial those elbows toward one another. That helps set the shoulder heads back. There's 10. Make sure both sides of the back are working evenly. If you have one side that you know is a little bit weaker and will want to rely on the strong side, try to make it work. See what you're capable of as far as developing and recruiting certain muscles, certain sides. 14. 15. Whew. Can tell this is the last set. All right, low back in the ground. Hit those in and outs. 4, 7, 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, back flies, and then our box row. Lots of belly, lots of back. See if you can get that back to contract before you even head over. Then you hinge and then fly. Set in, get that back going. 5, 4. Check in with the core. 2, and 1. Okay. Back into our box rows. These are getting tough for me, I have to say. I work on my lat strength. Every workout is feedback. Something you need to work on, develop, adjust. 4. Find that lat. There's 10. Make sure those hips are staying level. 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Other side. Keep that elbow pinched in close to your rib cage. Keep the back long and strong. Flex through that core. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Back to our in and outs. One, two. Find that core. 13, 14, 15. Okay. Back taps, dead rows, in and outs. Perfect timing. Belly strong, hinge forward. Here you go. Keep working belly back. Focus, belly back. 5 to go. 4, 3. Trying to watch my shoulder heads. Try not to let them round forward. We don't want to work from a forward motion. We got to set those shoulders back. The whole point of why we're here, everything, a lot of what we do in life is forward moving. So you got to get that back pull. Squeeze those shoulder blades still. Pull those elbows back and tight. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last set of in and outs. Pack in first and then tuck. 6, 7. Find that scoop as you extend the body into that hollow hold. 13, 14, 15. Whew. Okay. We're going to stretch through that back, starting off with a twist. So right leg long on the ground. Tuck your left knee into the middle of your chest, to your sternum. Take a deep inhale, and then with your exhale, take your right hand and push the knee over to the right, so your hips roll up, and then stick your left arm out with the palm on the ground. And then hopefully you can even get your back of the shoulder to touch the ground as well. Should feel a nice twist through the back. Stretch on that shoulder. Okay, extend your left leg long. Tuck your right knee in. Pull toward the center of the chest. Take a deep inhale. And then with your exhale, push that knee to the left. Open the right arm out. Palm on the ground. Oof. See again if you can get that right shoulder head, the back of it, onto the ground. This just helps check in with flexibility and mobility through the chest and the shoulder. And then roll back to center. I'm going to grab a quick figure 4. So cross your left ankle over the right knee. Always a good one to grab this one, or your pigeon. Good idea to hit this at least once every day. Helps keep everything kind of in position the way that it should be through your hips, your low back, your glutes. Ooh, flex both feet. Keep pulling into the chest. Make sure you still pull those shoulders back. Slide them down to the ground. All right, and then let's switch to the other side. Cross right ankle over left knee. Interlace your hands behind that left thigh. Check in and make sure that your hips are still squared off. Sometimes it's easy to get all wonky and start curving and twisting. Check in, see if you can roll those shoulders back a little more. Me as well. I've also been trying to kind of find time during the day. Okay, extend both legs long. Out in front, reach your arms up overhead, take your roll up. Find time in the day to roll or to lie on a foam roller long ways and let my chest open, those shoulders to roll back. Just realizing more and more how so much of what we do, especially as we age, is forward. So we need to continue to build the back, but also stretch across the shoulders and chest. Okay, let's take a little twist around that left side and then to the right. Take your low yogi squat. Last little stretch here. Check in with everything. It's a great way to release the low back as well. Keep those hips nice and open. All right. Fantastic job, everybody. Keep that back work going. Chest up. Use the strength of that upper back, and I'll see you tomorrow.